Hello, hope you're well. Today is Tuesday the 23rd of November, which means it's very close to Christmas. And it's very close to putting up the damn Christmas tree, right now? I reckon this weekend I've got a... Anyway, we're going to go train push. We have Le Monster in check. And yeah, we're going to be training up muscle... No, wait, not muscle works, body works. Same thing. In Peterborough, we're going to go train with my client Reese. And... we're going to have fun and go get a nice little juicy titty pump. Sick. Hey people, I hope you're well. Welcome to Bodyworks. I was going to do a mic'd up session here, but the music was insanely loud, so I thought I would just do a walkthrough, but also the vlog topic was going to be about rate of gain, so I was going to quickly touch on that, and then you can obviously have some practical takeaways for your off season if you're in the same predicament as me. So we actually adapted this program because I was training with Reese, who we were just going with his program rather than having to kind of make him go to my kind of program, of which I would have had like hardly any chest work. We just went to his program. It was much easier. In situations like that where you're training with a partner or you're training with a friend and you're meeting up, you can be very kind of reactive and then just hop back straight onto the program or your program, and also like adapt your own program. So for example, like Reese went for a few more chest presses than me, whereas I was pretty much tanked and fried. But also this machine was very cool. You can load it in different ranges. Anyway, so with rate of gain, I think that most people will be like, right, here's a number, hit it every single week, etc. The only problem with that is, for example, you're going to try and fit within that bracket every single week. So for example, if I say, right, so you hit 0.25 to 0.5% of your mass every single week. Now, one week you have a lot of stress, you might have higher sodium foods, so you'll be in the kind of 1% bracket. The next week you kind of rectify, and then all of a sudden you're in the 0% bracket, so you're going to so you kind of get to that 1%. You've reduced all of your kind of your calories because you're not in the bracket. Now you're at like you're kind of a minus rate of loss. So understand that when you're looking at a kind of a rate of gain, I would look more towards like the monthly kind of data. So like 1% of your mass tends to be a good proxy. However, you can be like 1.1 or 1.2%, and you can be underneath that at 0.8%. Now understand that with these numbers as well, understand that if you are on the higher end of body fat, understand that your rate of gain is going to be significantly lower to someone who's on the lower end of body fat, who can potentially, well, not even body fat, but even mass, right? You got to think that 1% of like per week or per month, let's say, for someone who's like 300 pounds compared to someone who is like 120 pounds, understand that if I just give you a blanket statement of 1% a month, that's going to look very different from person to person, right? So understand it from that angle as well. But very generally, why or when to kind of push calories. Now, number one thing to look at is going to be your look. So how are you looking, right? So body composition wise, am I looking decent? Am I looking fat, flat, kind of spilled over water, etc.? You've got that proxy, but you've also got the your kind of progress in the gym. Because if you're not progressing in the gym and you're adding a lot of weight, you're adding like 1% a week, for example, something's going on there, and you're most certainly adding fat instead of muscle, right? A good proxy is training performance and body weights moving up in an appropriate manner, 1%-ish, and then general look would seemingly follow them two, basically. But I think when most people like assume, this is why I don't like calling it like a bulking phase, because a bulking phase would be like a seafood diet, like you eat everything and then all of a sudden training performance is out of whack, because like you feel very lethargic, etc., and that's where a lot of kind of body fat would accumulate. But yeah, that's very generally like where I would recommend you to look at. And very generally, like if you're seeing like gym performance kind of rise, but body weight isn't necessarily coming up, it's not the end of the world. But you could do with a little bit more calories if you're holding on to the same scale weight for more than like 2 to 3 weeks. Is certainly a good proxy. But that's not to say that you can't gain muscle at maintenance calories, because you certainly can. It just might be from a recovery standpoint, certainly that you could benefit from a little bit kind of more calories and more of an actual rate of loss instead of kind of being static in that realm. We actually had one of them Life Fitness cable stacks in our old gym, but they actually got rid of it, which sucked. It was one of the wide cables, but they've got the small one in here, and it's very cool. But this gym was very good. It actually reminded me a lot of Muscle Worked in Bethnal Green. Very raw, very cool equipment. There was bits of equipment that you would never ever use, but there's certainly bits of equipment that is pretty decent. Like the calf raise. I mean, it's a calf raise, but yeah, there's quite the hack tool was really cool. I think I'm going to go try that. But the Strive was very, very cool. I have a lot of arm equipment, but I tend to find that the arm equipment is very static, so you can't necessarily move it to where you want it to, like you can on a cable. And here's how the rig is looking. Currently around 12 pounds up from stage, so really nothing too drastic here. The lighting's not really doing me any favours in terms of the tan, but yeah, this is how everything's looking. Probably looking to pack on around like 3 to 4 pounds ish from here, and then just see how the rig looks, whether that's in maintenance or pull back a little bit. So, pretty good gym, fucking awesome gym in fact. I think I've already said on the voiceover, it's kind of very spit and sawdust, very raw. But it's very nice to have a session with Reece. Very nice to see kind of people in person, clients in person. Number one, you can gauge kind of where they're or how they're training, and number two, you can also kind of see how they're looking, because checking photos are great, but actually seeing them in person is completely different, right? Obviously, with my overseas clients, I really don't get the benefit of that, which is why I kind of propose for like videos, etc. However, in the flesh is always going to be better, but kind of is what it is. But anyway, I'm going to go home and eat. It's about an hour till I get home, so I'm just going to basically drive home now, and I'm going to finish the vlog here. I hope you took something away from this vlog, mainly the rate of gain, which I hopefully would have spoke about in that voiceover. If not, this looks stupid. And I'll speak to you in the next vlog.